Good evening, and thank you for joining us for a Fox 43 News special, Veterans Voices. I'm Rob Hughes. For the next half hour, we'll be honoring our nation's cherished veterans and all those who serve in every branch of our military. We'll share with you stories focusing on veterans and their stories of courage and perseverance. He devoted 15 years of his life serving in the Air Force as an airplane mechanic. Now, 2 decades into retirement, the Kansas native says he puts what he learned during that time to use each and every day. 27 News reporter Savannah Meyer shares his story.
After meeting up with an old friend who had signed on with the Air Force ROTC program, Tom Legasse found himself interested in getting involved. After a few meetings with the recruiter, Legasse entered the Air Force in 1990. When it came to choosing his specialty, aptitude testing helped point him in the right direction.
When I tested in the ASVAB, they said I could go open mechanical. And I like mechanics and all that, so that's what I chose, and I don't regret it. I made some really good pilot friends that I still keep in touch with, and co-workers and stuff. I enjoyed every aspect of it.
This job, like many, led to Legasse find both challenges and very memorable moments. But something he has taken pride in is seeing his son follow in his footsteps all these years later.
Yeah, I would say my whole career, but the proudest I've felt is my son just graduated from basic training earlier this year in the Air Force. He is an engine mechanic stationed up in Dover, Delaware, so he kind of followed my footsteps.
And recently, with his own military career far behind him, Legasse was assigned one final mission.
The honor flight that I took 2 years ago, I got to go to DC with a bunch of Vietnam vets. It was so heartwarming to see them actually get the welcome home that they deserved back in the Vietnam era. I mean, it was phenomenal. You know, I didn't feel I deserved the honor flight, but I got nominated and I got selected. My guardian, her and I are very close to this day. I mean, that was the most shocking experience I've ever seen, is to see the Vietnam veterans so excited and happy.
After retiring from the military in 2005, Legasse settled down in Emporia with his wife, where he now works as a method tech at Michelin. Just like those military planes from his youth, he continues to keep the machines up and running for his team.
Kansas native Wendy Charbonneau served 20 years in Navy medicine, and she tells us that in that time she saw a lot of change, especially for women in the military.
So, in the beginning, it was a little bumpy. There weren't women on ships when I first joined. I don't even think we had women pilots. I know we had no women submariners, but now all of those fields have females in them. So that was a huge thing to be a part of.
Breaking barriers for women wasn't the only struggle Charbonneau faced in her career. She was stationed at Camp Pendleton in California, treating wounded soldiers during the September 11th terrorist attack. I
was in line going to work, and all of a sudden the radio interrupted because the line to get on the base was 2 hours long. By the time you got up to the gate, they had dogs and mirrors, and they were searching everybody's cars, and the towers had been hit yet. The Pentagon hadn't been hit yet. And then our lives changed. They called up every able body and said, go home, kiss your family, pack your things. They were doing flight line, wills and power of attorneys and sending them on their way.
Despite the hardships, Charbonneau will always be proud of her time in the Navy and beyond.
I was always proud in my uniform, and even now, I do still kind of get a little snarky when someone says, oh, to my husband, like, thank you for your service. And I'm like, but it's me. Mm-hmm. Like, I did the 21st, but yeah, being a woman and being in there during those kind of things, like women integrating to ships and submarines and combat, and just getting to do some of the things, because it wasn't all work.
After going separate ways after high school, twin brothers ended up back together again in the Marine Corps. Today, they say the bond of brotherhood made their service all the more special.
Robert and Randy Stewart, twin brothers from Emporia, one pursuing the college route right out of high school, the other enlisting into the Marine Corps to pursue his lifelong dream of being in law enforcement. After years at Emporia State, Robert decided it wasn't for him and needed a change in his life.
He called me from, I think you were in Lackland. Yeah. And And I was like, I've got to do something different. And the thing is, the military is not for everybody, and I get that. But when you have no idea what you want to do with your life, it's a good way to start.
That decision led him to the best choice he's ever made: 8 years in the Corps as a bulk fuel specialist. And for his first deployment, he had a piece of home waiting at his back door.
When I got to Okinawa, I'd been there for like 7-8 months, and he had told me, hey, I'm getting sent. He'd finished his schooling to be a bulk refueling aircraft. At the time, I was already a certified law enforcement officer in the Marine Corps, was doing my job basically as providing basic law enforcement protection and safety for people who lived on base. He shows up, and little did I know his barracks was going to be right behind mine. I could literally walk up the back door of my barracks, walk 50 yards, 60 yards, and I was at his room.
A best friend with you in a time like deployment makes the tough times easier, but the two always made sure to have a good time when they could.
There's a lot of things that I saw that 19, 20, 22-year-old kids shouldn't have to see. But, I didn't let it get me down. I had family and friends, and we worked hard, but we played hard just as well.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of softball tournaments, too. So.
For Randy, his 12 years of service, and for Robert, his 8 years, being a Marine for them never ended. It continued 24/7. Wearing the Eagle Globe and anchor across the chest is something to show pride in. But more than that, it's the thank yous that mean the most.
To hear people say thank you for being here, it means the world. I don't think people say it enough. You are absolutely welcome from the bottom of my heart.
The Stewart brothers now reside in Northeast Kansas, where Randy has been with the Burlington Police Department for the last 17 plus years, and Robert works at Michelin building tracks for farmers.
These two never planned on joining the Army, but it led to a lifelong journey together. Up next, how service shaped their lives and why they wouldn't have it any other way.
Hi, I'm Chris Sanders with Superior Roofing. We are proud to recognize our local veterans. Let me introduce you to veteran Jim Thatcher.
I decided to join the military because my grandfather retired 30 years out of the United States Navy, and I wanted to kind of follow in his footsteps and see what he saw. It'll help you for the rest of your life, and you'll meet lifelong friends that you'll never, ever forget.
Superior Roofing would like to thank you, Jimmy, and all our veterans for serving our country.
It's not just Black Friday, it's the Faith Furniture and Mattress Black Friday Savings Event, and it's bigger than ever. Save up to 60% on living room, bedroom, and dining sets. Wall hugger recliner, just $2.99. Rocker recliner, $3.99. Super comfy sofa, $4.99. 6-piece bedroom set, a steal at $7.99. Firm queen mattress, only $3.49. The Black Friday savings are going on now. Shop early for best selection, styles you love, prices you won't believe. This Black Friday, you just gotta have faith.
Hi, I'm Justin Glasgow, owner of Performance Tire and Auto. Gear up, be safe, and save big with Cooper Tires this month. For a limited time, get up to a $75 Cooper Tire reward when you purchase a new set of 4 qualifying Cooper tires. Choose from great options like these. Your journey to winter driving safely begins here. See our entire lineup at either of our 2 locations, 17th and South Topeka Boulevard or 1735 North Kansas Avenue.
She's the teacher who stays late to help one more student. The neighbor who creates a big change from just a small idea. Every day, remarkable women lead, inspire, and change lives in our community. We want your help to recognize her impact.
Go to ksnt.com/remarkablewomen to nominate a remarkable woman by December 19th. Presented locally by Sharp Honda, Topeka ER and Hospital, and Washburn University.
Welcome back to Veterans Voices. It's a military love story. 27 News reporter Savannah Meyer introduces us to a couple who met while serving and have been inseparable ever since.
Alexis and Stephen Nesson both joined the Army after talking to recruiters. The two never planned on the Army being something they would end up being a part of, but now wouldn't have it any other way. Both being in the same engineering unit, that is where their journey started.
We had gone to schooling together down in Gulfport, Mississippi, which was a naval base, and they led construction and engineer work. And so since 2010, we have been together. We got married very shortly after.
Yeah, I mean...
We were together for maybe only a couple months.
We were in AIT, which our AIT was about 10 weeks long, and about halfway through I proposed to her on the beach in Gulfport. And then, yeah, I mean, about 3-4 months later, we got married. So, and been together ever since.
Since then, they both had grown up together, started a family, and served our country. With such highs and lows of being in the military, they learned many things, including navigating becoming a mom and serving.
The Army just taught me a lot. It helped me grow. I mean, especially since I was in from 17 to 27. I spent those formative years of my life growing and learning all these different roles, learning that I was capable of a lot more than I knew. I also gave birth to all of our kids through my time in the service, so that was something that was hard on women. Women that serve is like we give birth and then we rebound back. I mean, I even have a photo that we'll look at that is just me within 2 months of having a child, and I'm back to work, back in the field. And so it really taught me how to be really resilient and accomplish a lot.
For the two, they both wear a lot of pride knowing they have gotten to protect others by choosing this path.
Protecting the ones you love, there's nothing greater than that. And whether it's you're downrange or you're I don't know, as long as you put that uniform on, you've done a lot.
The Nessons now reside in Olpe with their 4 children, ages 16, 14, 12, and 7, coaching endless amounts of soccer teams, traveling, volunteering, and working their civilian jobs.
Purple Heart recipient Terry Thomas was in high school in the 1960s as the Vietnam War was escalating. He signed up for the draft just after his 18th birthday.
When I graduated, then I got my letter, come on down. Well, volunteering for the draft, they put you where they need you. So they put me with the Army.
In Vietnam, Thomas served as an armored personnel carrier, rising to the rank of corporal. But a serious injury during combat took him out of action.
The reason I didn't go back to Vietnam was when I got wounded, I had no ability to, with my arm and my hand, I couldn't raise them or nothing, so I had to go through 3 months of in the hospitals until I got it back.
Despite losing 2 friends in the attack and his own lifelong injuries, Thomas says the experience showed him life is a blessing and says his service is something that he is proud of because he did it to help his country and he would do it all again.
I felt like I had a job to do, so that's what I did. The real heroes to me in the war was the 2 guys that died, you know, so. But I was just doing my job.
Well, inspired by 9/11 but scarred in Baghdad, one Kansas veteran turned tragedy into purpose. Up next, the story of a Purple Heart soldier turning his hardest day into a new mission at home.
What if protecting penguins could help us save pumas? I'm National Geographic explorer Pablo Garcia Borboroglu, and that's exactly what I do. Penguins are a keystone species. When we protect them, we save so many other animals in the sea and on land. National Geographic Society celebrates all of its global explorers who are inspiring us to protect marine species like penguins.
I grew up in Miami, Florida, and I've always been drawn to the stories that shape people's lives. I moved to Topeka to chase my dream of becoming a political journalist, starting from the ground up at the Capitol and working my way into the anchor chair. What got me into news was a deep desire to understand people and what challenges they face. I want to be the kind of journalist who listens first and reports with heart and integrity. For me, it's not just about breaking news. It's about building trust and telling the truth. Because at the end of the day, these stories are about real people, and I'm honored to share them with you on 27 News, working for you.
This November,
where the sun is shining and I'm feeling free.
Start your day with the Emmy Award-winning Live with Kelly and Mark. It's a month packed with big stars. Sydney Sweeney, Billy Bob Thornton, Michael Bublé, Tiana Taylor, Janelle James, Elle Fanning, Trisha Yearwood, Michelle Yeoh, Jeff Goldblum, and the Jonas Brothers. Only on the Emmy Award-winning Live.
Weekdays at 11 on 27 KSNT. Get your local news first on Fox 43 News at 9. Local news, weather, and sports. Every night at 9. It's your local news an hour earlier. Fox 43 News at 9. First on Fox.
A Topeka veteran says his personal call to serve came on September 11, 2001, as he watched the attacks on New York and Washington play out during high school English class. But 5 years later, a mission in Baghdad cut his service short. 27 News reporter Savannah Meyer has his story.
Brent Witten was on patrol in Baghdad when disaster struck.
Our mission that day was very important. We're looking for potholes. And next thing I know, I woke up and my body was on fire. I was like, oh, this isn't good. I think we've been hit. And I couldn't feel my legs. My skin was like melting off. And my head was super fuzzy. And I thought, well, I'm probably going to die here.
After a couple of transfers across the pond, Witten made his way back over to the States to an Army medical center in San Antonio. There, he was in treatments for several months to recover and heal from burns all over his body, avoiding skin grafts. Eventually, Witten was separated from the Army as he could not perform his job anymore and received his Purple Heart. Witten remembers his trip to the Big Apple with the Wounded Warrior Project to see the new World Trade Center being built, feeling the impact of what this new monument will bring and meet the heroes, the New York police and firemen who were there at the time.
They thanked us for our service just as we thanked them, because on 9/11, New York was their front lines. They handed the baton to us, so other countries were the front lines. It wasn't our cities anymore, thankfully. So when I think about 9/11, I think about those firefighters and police officers I met in New York City who reminded me of that fact that they fought the first battle, I fought the next, and now other people have to fight the other ones, unfortunately. But it's just that continuation of service to the country.
When it comes to military recognition, those who were wounded in action get the glory, while the medics who saved their lives often go unseen. Savannah Meyer brings us the story of one Kansas veteran who became a nurse to serve her country.
Born and raised Topeka resident Barbara Stevenson always knew her passion for taking care of others would lead to a career in nursing. But what she never would have imagined was being a nurse in the Army and taking care of soldiers around the world.
My father was working hard to put us through college, so I decided that I would look into joining the military. I wanted to be an Air Force nurse, but unfortunately the Air Force didn't have a student nurse program. So I joined the Army in November, as November 1969, and I was a second lieutenant during my junior and senior year, and they paid for my college tuition and my room and board.
Stevenson spent over 30 years being a part of the Army, and one of her deployments was to Saudi Arabia for Desert Storm. As a part of the Army Medical Department that consisted of physicians, nurses, nursing assistants, pharmacists, radiology, physical therapy, and dental professions, they had to build a hospital. And for Stevenson, that is where she gained her proudest moments.
I'm proud of. The thing I'm most proud of was that when we were called to active duty and mobilized to Saudi Arabia during Desert Storm, we set up a 400-bed hospital, and we took 400 people and we brought 400 people back. And to me, that says it all. That's you know, the fact that I was part of that.
For the AMED staff, they were trained to care for the wounded regardless of race, color, or creed. And as for Stevenson, although being retired from the Army, she finds herself doing things she loves with the people she loves. And although not originally what she had in mind for herself at 18 years old, just starting college, Stevenson says it was an honor to serve and wouldn't change it for anything.
A local veteran is paying it forward. Up next, how he's taking the lessons learned through service and using them to help veterans here at home and across the nation.
Start your morning with soft, buttery, fresh-baked kolaches because you deserve more than just okay. At American Kolache, we make breakfast better. This is eating upgraded. Open till 2 at 5938 Southwest 17th Street in Topeka.
Join us for the Festival of Trees at Fairlawn Plaza, November 25th through December 6th to see the wonderfully designed trees and wreaths. And visit slitopeka.org/festival to participate in the silent auction and sweet shop. This tradition supports the mission of SLI.
Hi, I'm Chris Sanders with Superior Roofing. We are proud to recognize our local veterans. Let me introduce you to veteran Mike Weber.
I served one deployment to Iraq and one deployment to Afghanistan. It was challenging. Whether you were deployed or stateside, the military gives you all sorts of skills. Don't forget the sacrifices that were made for those that are still serving, those that did serve before us and paved the way for us to live the life that we live here in America.
Superior Roofing would like to thank you, Mike, and all veterans for serving our country.
What have we got? The Andersons. All night tossing and turning, bad backs, sleep score at an all-time low.
Round up the team. At Denver Mattress, going undercover is literally how we solve problems. And when we find sleepers waking up with aches and pains, we turn to the Tempur-Pedic Adapt, designed for ultimate pressure relief that uniquely adapts to your body's pressure points. And right now, save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets and get a $300 gift. Denver Mattress, the easiest way to get the right Tempur-Pedic.
The season is a forge. Every week tests your metal. With so much electricity in the air, it only takes a spark. Steelers, Chargers, Sunday Night Football on NBC and Peacock.
Not only does NBC Monday Comedy have all the right moves, got that one. It's also certified funny.
Should I do an American accent? Give me a quarter pounder with cheese for my mom.
Certified.
Perfect.
Mondays are certified funny on NBC and Peacock.
The scars of war can stick with you, even the ones you can't see. Statistics show veterans are at a 58% higher risk of suicide than those who haven't served. That's driving one local veteran to go the extra mile to support and inspire his fellow brothers and sisters in arms. 27 News reporter Savannah Meyer explains.
James Greer served in the U.S. Army for 5 years. He says the structure and discipline the military offers shaped him into the person he is today.
My service in the military is the reason I am who I am. It means everything to me. I don't always look in the past, but I do understand that I am today who I am, the discipline that I have about myself and the way I carry myself and the way I live my life is based on what I learned in the skill sets that I learned in the military. I definitely would not be where I am today without my time in the military.
That discipline drove Greer to achieve the rank of specialist and the role of platoon leader. But when it was all over and he finally came home, Greer says he was flooded not only by pride, but also a sense of guilt.
When I stepped off that plane, coming back from combat, and my family and friends were there, and my dad, my father was there, and I did feel a sense of pride that one had survived it. I felt guilt of the ones that didn't, but I was proud of what I'd done, that I'd served my country, and I had made it home.
Recently, Greer learned an average of 22 veterans a day in the United States die by suicide. As a veteran who has also struggled to adapt to civilian life, he decided to make a difference.
I bought a dirt bike and I gave myself 22 days to ride to the Arctic Circle and back on that dirt bike, and I slept on the ground in a tent and a Walmart sleeping bag, and I made it in 18 and a half days. And I used that to draw awareness to veteran suicide, which in turn turned into a nonprofit organization now called Ride for Veterans.
Now every year, Greer rides a minimum of 2,200 miles and donates to veterans who are in need. Just last year, his group started a mission to visit every veteran's care home in the United States.
Now, people will forget what you do in life. People are going to forget what you say, but people never forget how you make them feel. And you just have to visit your veteran homes, and you'll understand where I'm coming from.
During his 3 decades with the National Guard, one Kansas veteran made history serving in an unusually wide variety of positions, doing everything from fixing airplanes to planning funerals.
Originally considering joining the Air Force, Robert Webb instead decided the National Guard was a better way to serve his nation while still working in his community. In 1956, Webb started as a jet aircraft mechanic, getting to work on the F-18, F-86, and F-100s. Eventually, he got the opportunity to cross-train, something unheard of in those days, and the chance to transfer to personnel.
I stayed in personnel up through the ranks of E8 or Senior Master Sergeant, and then got an opportunity to be commissioned. And so I got commissioned and served as personnel officer, as a squadron commander, and also as a comptroller, and final assignment was a base services officer. So I enlisted up through grade E8 and then got commissioned and retired as a lieutenant colonel with 31 years of service.
Webb went on to become the first person assigned to the 3 major units of the Kansas Air National Guard: McConnell Air Force Base, state headquarters in the state capital, and Forbes Field. As if he wasn't already making history, Webb had an additional duty as a mortuary affairs and casualty assistance officer. That led him into a second career here in Topeka.
Having gone through that several times, I felt like maybe I would become a funeral director. But in those days, you had to be an embalmer as well. So I instead did pre-planned funeral plans for 20-some years, and then had the opportunity to become a funeral director. And so I got licensed as a funeral director. And then this next month, I will have completed 30 years with the funeral industry.
Webb now resides in Silver Lake, where he is very active, involved, and recognized within the community, gaining life memberships in the American Legion, Veterans of Foreign Wars, and National Guard Association of Kansas and the United States.
We want to thank you for taking this journey with us as we honor our nation's veterans and those who are still serving. From all of us here at 27 News, we say thank you for your service and sacrifice. For Veterans Voices, I'm Rob Hughes. Have a good night.
Veterans Voices, sponsored by these fine sponsors.